Good evening, guys. Thanks for tuning in to our second premium forecast discussion. The last one I got a lot of good feedback. Obviously, as we continue, we're going to continue to improve the quality. Please bear with us. The site is going to have some kinks and some bugs. It is just basically being beta tested right now. We're working on, I'm pretty much doing all the work myself for the actual site. I do have a company we're talking to actually do development to make it a little smoother. And a little easier of an interface, so bear with me. I'm not the most technologically advanced guy out there in terms of putting in code for websites and whatnot. If anybody's interested, they know anybody, or they're a developer themselves, send me a message, and I'll be more than happy to see what you offer and what you can do for us. But again, I appreciate everybody that signed up for the free trial. I opened the free trial up for 7 days to everyone now. Just submit a form, you get an email. It's going to last a full 7 days. I may extend it to 10 because I don't want to start charging people when I don't have the quality that I'd really like. You know, I don't feel that's right. So I might be extending the free trial even further out until we really start to work out the kinks. And I love hearing feedback. I want to know what doesn't work, what does work. I had a guy send me a couple messages and say, hey, I'd really like to be able to, you know, not have to put the password in to each different thing. I went and changed it. If you notice, you only have to put your password in once when you go to premium, and then you have to there's the different links for the different sections. If there's stuff you'd like us to add, if there's additional things you'd like us to talk about, please let's do so. Just send me an email. I answer almost everyone. I will answer you via email. If you send me a direct message on Twitter, chances are I'm not always going to answer you because I get a ton of them every time I post a snow map. And I'm not saying like I'm annoyed by it. I'm just saying it falls into the wayside of it. It's very hard to keep track. So we're going to look at a bunch of different things. We're going to look at previous runs to get a good standard and a good base reading for what we're looking at in terms of where models are going now, which will bring us to the thoughts on this upcoming storm. The pattern is more and more showing a positive PNA, which is a nice ridge out west. We're getting a really nice press. It's very similar to our setup for the blizzard. It's very similar, only it's not two very, very strong pieces of energy. We don't have a threat of a triple phase or anything like that, but pattern-wise and flow-wise, it's very, very similar. We're having a strong upper-level low drop down through the Great Lakes region, and we're having some fairly strong energy around the trough of the base. As the trough goes negative, if we can get the trough to go negative soon enough, then we'll go ahead and have a really big snowstorm. Plenty of cold air, banana high on some of the models. Other models just have a very large high, and we do have a little bit of North Atlantic blocking, it looks like. So it's a very good setup, in my opinion, for a snowstorm. I'm leaning snowstorm right now for most of I-95. I know everybody says, oh, Virginia and all that other stuff. I think it's going to be a snowstorm from D.C. up to Maine. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout blizzard for all of those areas. I do think it is going to be a large snowfall for some areas, which we'll get into. But I think there is at least the chance for moderate snow all the way from D.C. to Maine. Maybe even as far down as North Carolina, northern North Carolina, into the Virginia, higher elevations, Delmarva, Delaware, straight up through Jersey. And I'll show those areas here. This is the previous run of the Euro. This was yesterday at 12Z. We're using this as our baseline because I think this is where we really started to see some significant changes at 500. Originally, the upper level low was staying fairly north, which is not a good thing. It's going to create a progressive pattern. It's going to allow for the heights to be kind of flat along the East Coast, which we'd like strong heights along the East Coast. And it's not going to allow our energy rounding our trough base to really dig down into the Gulf or even the southern states and start to come around the trough. We have a very flat rounded piece of energy. It was very progressive. That's why we saw a weak clipper system. So basically, here's our main energy here as the run progresses into 18Z Wednesday. The energy is not really, the energy is there for the clipper, which is why the most of the snows on this run in particular, yesterday's 12Z, showed a good area of snow, moderate snowfall, maybe light warning level snows for most of the area, especially north and west of the coast, because it was a strong clipper. This is a strong piece of north-south oriented piece of energy, and the trough is positive, so it's very progressive. It's going to push through and flow straight through. There is some energy. This is where I started to really take notice. We started to see this piece of energy break off down here, as opposed to previous runs. It just wasn't doing that. We were staying fairly rounded, almost like this. this piece of energy right here was stronger up in front, which is why we were getting this elongated piece of energy to push through and round our trough. However, we're starting to see this piece of energy. It's holding more energy back. The more energy that holds back, the further south we can get the trough and vort to dig, the further south we can get our upper level low, and the better heights we can get. A better ridge out west would also help, which it is. This is a very similar setup. We see this energy out here. It was a little further south around our blizzard. It was pumping in the heights. Okay, that's what we want. That's a good thing. That's why I think the pattern is very primed for a snowstorm here. I don't really think cold or warmth is going to be a problem unless we do get the low pressure system to track too far. No matter how cold or how cold it is, if you get a low pressure system to track overhead, the winds aren't going to be favorable enough for all snow in certain areas. So that's just how that is. As we move forward, this was yesterday's actual precipitation depiction, and as you can see here, we've got some light to moderate snows that break out basically in front of that energy piece. So as we look, if we were to compare that to the actual energy that was pushed through, here was our energy right here, strong piece of energy, and then we had another digging vort down here. As that energy pushes through, that's when you're getting a nice area of snowfall to develop here. But this also wants to dig down and develop something down here. The problem is the trough doesn't go negative, and it is still a little bit too progressive. So we see a decent clipper with coastal enhancement. As we push forward, what happens is this piece of energy here rounds the base of our trough. Our trough then finally goes negative, and we get this to backflow in. And then we see much better snows back into here. So that was what the previous run was showing. I was leaning New England for this storm. I'm starting to think that we're pulling this back. I was actually quite surprised to see the GFS jump to a more amplified solution. The Euro usually does this with these systems. It tends to over-amplify the energy rounding the trough and the clipper, and then it kind of eases back a little bit. But it looks like models are kind of in agreement with the Euro. The NavGem, the JMA, I didn't really post them, but they're very, very close as well. And the NAM. The tail end of the NAM is significantly similar to the Euro. So that's what would lead me to believe that. As we move forward, temperatures, just a quick look at temperatures. They're not going to be a problem, especially north and west of New York City. Even if we get 0.5 to 0.75 of liquid precipitation, anybody in this area here, you're looking at 15-to-1 ratios once again. We're in the double digits for 850s. All the layers are cold. You're in the 20s. It's very good dendrite growth on the temperatures, and we should be plenty cold. And I think we're going to be plenty cold for the coast if we can get our low pressure system to track where we want it to. You can see by this warm spike here, this is a general idea of where the model wants to bring our low pressure and redevelop. However, the older run was curling it into Maine, so they had a little bit more snow. But that's not really the case anymore if we take a look. All right, moving on. This is the 18Z GFS. So this would be the next run as of last night. This was last night's 18Z. And basically this is what prompted me to kind of start to buy on to maybe the Euro. We're not seeing as much elongation here or here as we were, and we're seeing nice consolidated piece of energy. This consolidated piece of energy, we would like it back here further. Okay, that'll give us some more backflow. We're still pumping the heights nicely. The heights are building along the East Coast nicely, but we'd like to see this entire upper level low. Sorry, I'm drawing so much goddamn fucking shit for you guys. You guys are probably like, what in the fuck is going on here? Let me erase it all. We'd like to see this entire setup here. So this whole upper level low, I would really like to see it around here for the actual low. And then I'd like to see the energy digging down here, like this. That's going to bring our trough neutral at this time frame. If the trough goes neutral around OOZ Wednesday, we're going to start to see this energy get held back. We'd love to see this energy back into here. If that energy can get held back, we're going to get it much easier position in terms of rounding the trough. And I apologize about the radio if the radio goes off, so I'm not going to redo the video. Just
Truck is the quarter station 2.
Bear with me. So we're not going to go ahead and see as much progression with the energy, trying to zoom past the upper level low, and then too much redevelopment up in here, as opposed to keeping the energy back, watching it come through the trough nicely. Our trough goes negative, and then we're doing nothing but backflowing here. We have nice feed off the Atlantic. I think the Gulf is going to be in play for this storm. We will see from that point. Now, this is the big map here. So if we go forward here, this was our previous run. Let me take off all this. Shit here. Here was our previous run. We had this piece of energy here that was digging, like I said. Now keep an eye on that piece. Much stronger. GFS. Much stronger. This is today. Okay, so this was 12. This is today's run. 12Z this afternoon, both runs. I know 18Z GFS is coming out like right now as I film this video, so obviously I'll take a look at that, but I don't really give a shit too much about the 18Z runs because I think they're horse shit to begin with, so fuck them. But what are we seeing? We're seeing exactly what I talked about here. This was the previous runs. Okay? Previous runs of the Euro, previous run of the GFS. Energy consolidation as opposed to a strung out vort. Look at the difference. Here's your two runs right here. New run, old run. New run, old run. New run, old run. The new run. I mean, that has got to be. That's got a put a little pepper in your dick right there to look at that. This is just this is a classic look. I would still like to see this trough neutral at this time frame and have this energy digging down into here, but I'll take this look right here. This looks fine to me. Don't use the surface maps because, as I said last time, with this most recent storm that we're getting now, the surface maps don't do it justice. This is a lot of energy rounding the base of our trough. This is a lot of energy consolidation as we push forward. The Euro just still has an unbelievable piece of energy for the initial clipper. And then what do we have? We have closed H5, okay, just west of Ohio. Euro doesn't quite, or I'm sorry, the GFS does not quite have that yet. If it did, we would see a little better trough orientation. So as it stands now, we're seeing our trough almost neutral. It's very close. And I can't draw straight, so I guess just fuck me, right? I wonder if I can get options on here for arrows. No, I can't. Okay, anyway. So again, new run, old run, new run, old run, new run, old run. Everything's pressed back further. Look at this piece of energy here. Let me get my pointer out. The trusty laser pointer. This piece of energy here, just watch the overall flow of the pattern. Oh, well, let me do it. Sorry about that. This whole system is new to me, too, so I'm working out the kinks. Bear with me. Look at the area this is in right here. So I'm very happy with the changes to support what I'm going with now, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. But I mean, there's a lot of energy here, a lot of energy here. Moving on. This is the new run, and this is a result. Old run, weak, less amplified, but still dropped a decent amount of snow. New run, a decent amount of snow. I mean, this is a nice swath of snow. Pay no attention to the rain snow lines this far out, please. And then we're still seeing it, but it's just a tad. Sorry about that, just a tad. So again, we do get the trough to go negative right around now. And then what are we seeing? We're seeing a backflow. If we can get this trough to go negative a little sooner, I mean, we're not talking very long. This is the difference. This area here is the difference of about 3 to 6 hours. That's nothing this far out, 3 to 6 hours. So I really wouldn't, fret too much on it. I'm currently leaning right now towards an amplified solution. I wasn't I change my thoughts. Obviously, I change my thoughts as the weather changes, as the forecast changes, as the models change. This is still a good dumping of snow. I didn't put the snowfall map in here. I post snowfall maps just for, just fun purposes. When I post a snowfall map, it is by no means a forecast, and it is by no means think that it's right. It's just a good indication of where the storm wants to dump the heaviest snow, as opposed to me posting precipitation maps and doing the Buffkit reports and all that shit, and trying to figure out how much snow you're getting. It's easier to just post the Kuchera map. I know they're a weenie map. I get it. I'm not posting snow maps for hype. I'm just posting them to show where that specific model run dumped the most snow for that run. Okay, so please know the difference. I'm not posting it in terms of, and I don't know why I just outlined New York. I was just, maybe it was a nervous thing. I don't know. But anyway, I do like what the Euro did. This is still snow. I do think that this is still snow for New York City. I think it's going to be close for Long Island, Eastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Eastern Massachusetts. I think it's going to be close. I'm not saying it's not going to be snow yet, but it's going to be close. But no matter what, I do think you will turn over to snow. No matter what the solution is, you will turn over to heavy snow. 6+ inches is still on the table for areas even that turn over. There's a lot of energy, and we do have blocking. It will be a slow-moving storm. Okay, we're talking OOZ on Thursday, and we have light snow breaking out, moderate snow pushing through, okay, and then we're talking 18Z. And it's still wrapping up and snowing. So there's a lot of energy associated with this storm, and it's a fairly slow to moderate mover. It's not going to zing in here and zing out of here. And I think that's why with a less amplified and a shittier H5, we could potentially see more significant snows, because especially inland, ratios are going to be better, as well as length. Duration and ratios. Moving on, I posted this. This was our sneak peek. I do believe that this is our main threat area. I could potentially see, let me get color here. I could obviously see an area somewhere in here somewhere in this swath here, seeing well over a foot. That's my gut reaction to the way the upper levels are trending. I could see someone in this area right here going well over a foot. The reason I think that is I think the best lift is going to be just north and west of the system. I do think that we're going to see our secondary system develop somewhere. I think it will. I don't think it'll be coming in too far west. I do think we are going to develop somewhere here, and we're going to track out this way. Okay, some of the models do want to bring it in here, but they want to bring it weaker. I'm leaning this route here. As this pulls away, we're going to get a immense amount of lift and mid-level cyclonic development. So let me just get us back here. But I do think this area, and when I say moderate snow threat, moderate snow to me is probably 3 to 7, 4 to 8 inches would be a moderate snow threat. Heavier snow, I think this is really the 6 to 12 area. And I do think, like I said, someone in this area here could very well be looking at something between a foot plus. I know that that's a little bit, people are going to say, oh, it's hype, it's whatever. That's just my thoughts. That's what I think. So that's where we're at now. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the 18Z runs. I'm going to take a look at the tail end of the NAM, because I do think it could be helpful when looking at 500. A lot of people don't understand that. Precipitation depiction is a no-no on the NAM altogether, in my opinion. I don't really look at precipitation depiction, but the upper levels and the mid-levels do tell a very telling story on the NAM. They're usually very well done, because obviously it is a mesoscale NAM, or I'm sorry, a mesoscale model, and I think it does have some good ideas in terms of 500. This whole forecast would change. My original thought was that this upper level low here was going to be positioned somewhere in western New York, but I thought we could overcome that with really nice mid-level lift and some moisture off the Atlantic. I did think that with a stronger Vort and stronger consolidated energy, we could overcome a poor positioned upper level low. Models are, however, trending this upper level low further south and east. Therefore, this entire threat area is going to trend further south and east. I don't think right now anyone outside of pretty much from this line north is still in the game. I don't think anybody south of that. I think it's going to be too late, or it's not going to drop that far south to develop that far south. So I do think maybe even North Carolina could see a little bit of light snow as this develops. Up into Virginia, Washington, I-95 northward. I think there's a good chance. I'm leaning at about a 75% chance for how I feel with this storm right now. And obviously, this is going to be a good one to follow. I appreciate everybody that signs up for the premium, everybody that signed up for the premium. We've had a great turnout, and I hope you guys really enjoy the videos. They're just going to get better and better as we go. The more people that sign up, the more clients we get, the better, better forecasts we'll get, better tools we'll have at our disposal. But I really appreciate the support, and it's been fantastic, and I can't wait to track this one with you guys. I'll have another video out tomorrow with more model updates, just like this one. I will do a live feed tonight, most likely, of either the GFS, or I'll probably do the GFS. I'm probably not going to stay up to live feed the Euro. I'm so addicted that I set an alarm for like 2 o'clock, and I get up and I look at the Euro. Because if I get up and take a piss, I'm going to look at it anyway. So I just get up, take a look at it, take a leak, and move on. So I know how many people probably feel. Sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night, check the Euro, and then you can't get back to sleep because you're so fucking excited. I don't know. I'm a weenie, I guess. But again, I really appreciate all the feedback. And again, feedback is fantastic, good or bad. I will, if it's constructive criticism, I will take it. If you fucking say I have my face is fucking ugly or whatever on fucking whatever, then fuck you. Because I had a couple people say that I shouldn't be doing videos because I'm ugly, which I'd say fucking suck my dick. But anyway, it's not safe for work weather. I appreciate it, and you guys have a very nice night, and we will stay in touch on Twitter. Thanks, guys.